Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hope all of you are fine and healthy. Before I start formally, I would like to call out a few caveats. It's not possible to cover all the tenets of SaaS marketing in a time span of 15 minutes. Hence, I've taken the liberty of picking up a few nuggets. I assume that the audience here are the SaaS entrepreneurs who have just initiated or will be embracing the journey of marketing in their respective setups. I will primarily touch upon areas where the entrepreneurs need to focus on: the play of digital marketing, the dimension of customer experience, and the traps one should be wary of, and finally, the quick fixes that would help them to accelerate in their growth momentum. Let me start with a bit of context setting. Overall, let us look at the SaaS market. Its growth compared to the global economy. If you can look at it, it's 6.5x. That's how fast it's growing as compared to the global economy. And if we look at the current size of it, it's a staggering 76 billion. So just wanted to give you a sense of which space that we are operating in. Here we are going to talk about the challenges that the marketers in the SaaS space face. Okay, it's also a bit of context setting so that at least you guys understand what space we are operating in. So, what are the key challenges that they face? One obviously is the differentiation in the oversaturated market. The next one is how to convince customers to stay put once the freebie period is over, because normally it has been seen a trend, everyone is offering a freebie. After all, there's no tangible product to market here. Okay, so it's basically a service. Okay, how do you reorient yourself in this particular game? Next is the art of retaining existing customers. Okay, as you've seen in typically in IT services market itself, that around 80 to 90% of your revenues do come from existing customers. So it's a paramount importance how you latch on to your existing customers, how you retain them, how you make them a loyal customers, and finally how you move them to a brand advocate or a brand ambassador. And lastly, the whole framework of building a scalable marketing strategy. So these are a few of the challenges that I picked up, which normally marketers in the SaaS space grapple with. So here, what I've done a bit of sectioning here. So we will move into a starting point. What needs to be done? Okay. And I just want to give you some my perspective, what I've seen. I've worked across this particular space. I've worked with a lot of the entrepreneurs, and this is what I've come across with. So the whole concept of MVP, minimal viable product, comes here in a very, very strong way. Okay. So when, especially in the software space, when the entrepreneurs needs to start off with something, they really need to follow the MVP and the MVM. MVM is the marketing which is aligned to MVP. So we call that MVM, minimum viable marketing. Do you know what Dropbox did? Okay, what the founder of Dropbox did? He first launched an animated video of the product with very few messages that describe the product features without developing any features at all. He wanted to see how his overall product idea would be received. The next day, he got tons of messages asking for details. Then he launched the product, sensing the interest. So this is the game plan one needs to have and operate in this particular space. Don't waste your time and money in building up a full-fledged features of your SaaS product. Please don't do that. Create a message video of your product with developing features, and that is what everyone needs to be worried of. What you're developing, what are the key things. Let them come back and give you a lot of feedback. At the most, if you want to do, just have 20% of your master features and test them in the market. And it's always important to measure the rating and usage feature while you are testing it. So here, basically, we are looking at three segments. Okay, we are looking at the business users. For business users, you cannot highlight features simply because this is not the community that wants to know about the features. For technical people, that's another second segment. Yes, the best way to explain is to bring about all your features upfront because they understand the features much better than anybody else. And finally, the third segment is your influencers, like what industry analysts, like the media and the press. And you need to weave a story which revolves around your benefits and features. Storytelling is what makes an impact on them. So this is how you need to play the game of MVP. And this is where MVM marketing is going to support you in terms of reaching out to the target audience and getting the feedback. And then you go to the drawing board and start making on those. A couple of things I want to highlight and a bit of caution. That's why I've put it out here. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs fall in love with the product, which is very good. It's a baby, but at its own peril. Please do not fall in love with your product. Fall in love with the customers and not the product features. Listen from the customers or the target audience what they have to say. and keep on refining your particular product. Do not turn blind eye to customers' problems, however small it may be, because it has been observed that there have been a lot of cases where small problems have given rise to big opportunity. Okay, so these are a few things which I am just telling from my insight and experience of working with this space with a lot of entrepreneurs, and this I have seen works out very well. People get so much carried away that they do it at the peril of their business, at the peril of the success. Please abstain from this. So this two in a box is something that I've again seen based on my experience and working with them. Like if there's one founder, he's very technically sound, he's a technologist, etc. We have seen that his baby and his SaaS company struggles a lot. If the founder were two, where one is very good in technology and the other is good in marketing, chances are this SaaS company will thrive. So the need of the hour is to find an experienced marketing person who will use his or her brain, not taking orders, but marketing the entire MVM, etc., and helping you in the MVP. Ideally, the marketing guy that I'm talking about should know the market in and out, should know what the context is, should know what the market can absorb, should know who the target audience is, should know how to reach out to the target audience. So it's a combination of two in the box that I've seen the maximum amount of success. And lastly, on the venture funding, it has been also observed that the founders take the idea too early to VCs and get rejected. We need to exercise caution and restrain here. It's better to start building your prototyping, user testing, design handoff with UX design before put all your efforts into development. So it has to be a very structured event. Don't rush through, don't eliminate steps in between. If you do it, the whole thing comes falling, crashing down. So many examples I've seen. So I thought I'll just put it across in terms of the starting point. So the whole play right now is on digital play, and this has been more accentuated by COVID coming in. So the entire paradigm has shifted and is a digital all across. It was earlier there pre-COVID times, but the acceleration has been far, far greater with the onset of COVID. So when you're talking about the digital strategy, okay, and which has happened to be a very, very key element of the overall marketing strategy. Now, digital marketing, covers 7 key components are listed out. One is the social media optimization. Second is the affiliate marketing. Third is the Google AdSense. Fourth is the web analytics. Fifth is email marketing. And next is SEO. And the last is pay-per-click, okay, or banner ads. Out of all this, for a startup company, okay, SEO is the key aspect of developing an online marketing strategy. And it pays very, very well to carefully pick up keywords that your prospects use to search on Google. For example, if you are in, say, I'm just giving an example, if you are in a restaurant catering to continental food lovers, your strategy should be use keywords that have continental in it. Okay, for example, related to continental, any dishes that you prepare. So you need to pick your keywords, and those are the very, very key. The next element is a local search. Leverage the function of maps, address, and phone numbers, because that also comes with the Google search engine. Also build up your thought leadership quotient. You are maybe very good in particular subject, and that's what your SaaS company is all about. How are you promoting it? You yourself should be writing blogs, have authored articles, take part in online publications with your articles, or maybe in a Q&A or an interview. Do some guest posts in some particular forums which are specifically focused on that. Build your quotient, build your thought leadership quotient. That helps a long run in the inbound marketing. I'll talk about later. Nothing is more important than the video in today's world. Everybody just consumes video. Have online video content. You do not need to spend money in that and appoint professional videographers or agencies to build it for you. You don't need to buy specialized equipment for that. You can start off with even using your smartphones, and they do a fairly good job. You can send the message across and they transmit whatever the narrative you want to do it. Email marketing, the future updates on products as well as the coupons to sign you up. Those are very, very important. I talked about internet banner ads, which is the CPC can come in very handy, because when you are fighting in the space with, say, the big daddies, and you do not have amount of funds to buy the keywords and to be the top ranking, you can use the internet banner ads. They help you to negate the particular journey when you don't have hierarchy keywords. They also help you because you only pay when there's a genuine interest and someone clicks on it. Okay, so the CPC, the cost per click ads, also comes in very handy. It depends on how you're playing. So it's a part of the toolkit that you need to juggle around and see which one gives you the maximum momentum during that point of time. The whole thing about mobile marketing. Okay, so I've put up a slide where you can talk about 17 hours that you can see which the mobile marketing helps you in that. The key thing is building an app without keeping COVID in mind is inviting failure. So in today's world, if you're building any app, ensure that COVID is right there in the center of it. And even if the app you're building is not related to COVID directly or indirectly, but please ensure that is there. So it's a mobile first approach where you have to ensure that you are there right there with your app. The mobile marketing is marketing to individuals and companies. So extensive use of your WhatsApp, the campaigns, the videos I talked about. It's a lead gen tool to reach the target audience. You can have your play with SMS, you can have a play with MMS. The mobile ads I talked about, the display, the search, the message-based formats, everything you have to take into cognizance while you're building up your arsenal. And this is one of the important tools that you cannot afford to neglect. The third element in the entire digital strategy that you need to focus on is the social media marketing. How are you playing in that? How are you sensitive to what is being spoken about? How are you catching to the conversations? And how are you promoting yourself? So you need to attend virtual groups to get feedback, as I talked about before when you're developing your MPP. So create a core community of, say, maybe 100 relevant people. Okay, that's the target audience in FB or a LinkedIn community. Seek their inputs continually as you go about, changing or editing your features, etc. Tell them, maybe you can give them off a subscription, free subscription, that helps to get that community a sticky one along with you. Become a part of the online groups and contribute, as I mentioned about before, in terms of your thought leadership. Build up your thought leadership content. You need to be a very regular participant in this. That should be having a key element or task in your particular to-do list. Ask questions, run surveys, get their feedbacks. And in a world where you need to be very, very cautious about your budget, don't spend too much about your ads and your promo part of it. Let the promotion, let the visibility all be in the social media. Use this as a promotion platform initially, because you need to be seen among your target audience, and you are right on that path. So this is one particular social media platform, is a tool that you can use to give you multiple benefits. So now I will come to a very key element, and that is the customer experience part of it. And this whole has taken a different paradigm shift because of COVID and the entire play on digital. So what is the digital customer experience all about, and how this is very, very critical? Even if you're starting off right from scratch, this is some particular peg that you cannot afford to ignore. So whole mindset, the whole game has to be kept in mind, the customer experience part. In the coming years, and this is as per Gartner, they have predicted that 80% of businesses would primarily compete on the basis of enhanced CX, or customer experience. So the differentiation between the products, services, and offerings between companies are slowly declining. And there would be a very thin line that separates one from the other. So the one that is going to be the demarketing factor is going to be your CX, and how dearly have you hold on to your customers, how clearly have you put your strategy across, and how well have you done the CX journey mapping, that will be the deciding factor. So if you look at a CX part of it, okay, there are basically 6 pillars that defines the CX balance. One is the personalization. Second is the integrity of the company. Third is the expectations factor. Fourth is the resolution with the customers. Fifth is the empathy. And the last is the time and effort, which is basically minimizing the customer's efforts and making the entire experience as frictionless process as possible. So in the paucity of time, I've just taken one of this entire 6, and I'll talk about minimizing the customer's efforts and making the frictionless process. So in our company, we have done everything which is an automated platform. So a customer can come in and he will have his own credentials. He logs into the portal. He can see everything that he needs to look at, be it his manager contacts. We want to add on to the contacts. He can create a ticket, so he can look at the status of his tickets. He can monitor the services that he's currently availing of. If he's a cloud customer, he can go and even provision cloud online. He can look at the status of its different devices that he has. He can review and monitor the different assets he has. So basically, in one nutshell, he can do everything he has, any engagement with the company. He can do 24/7. He can do at 12 at the midnight. He can do on the weekends. He doesn't depend on any customer or any employee interactions. And that is the beauty. Give him the reins. The reins has to be given to the customer. Let him decide what he wants to do. So handing control to the customers, making it frictionless is one of the steps of the CX that we are talking about. And CX is so important because as per the survey of PwC, it has been proven that customers will pay up to 20% more for a great CX. And also it has been proven that 1/3 of your customers may walk away from a brand they love even after one very bad experience. So you can imagine how CX is controlling the business. On one hand, it doesn't mind to give you extra because you have been really like the entire experience. On the other hand, one bad experience and your loyal customer may move away. So that is so delicate. That's why I brought it up, that this is something you need to be very cognizant from day one as you start building up your customer base. And the other thing I want to talk about is the age of self-service. Okay, so the crux of the matter is employees work for a finite number of hours, say 10 hours for 5 days or maybe 6 days. What happens if someone thinks beyond the official hours and maybe on weekends? If there is no one to interact with the particular a suspect or a prospect, the potential opportunity may go to competition. To ensure one does not lose any opportunity through the cracks, we need to deploy tools, we need to deploy AI, we need to have chatbots on websites and WhatsApp. As per Gartner, you're aware that a huge proportion of companies are already embracing this for interaction with the clients. So the purpose of putting this slide to your notice is inbuilt technology, inbuilt chatbots, AI as far as you can. Have less of dependency on humans and more on technology to take care that every single angle is looked at. You don't miss out any single opportunity because you do not want to make it a human intensive, and obviously they will have their own bandwidth issues. So try to move away from that and make it as automated business processes as possible. Yes, a few from my sides. I have seen this, so this is basically I want to spell it out. That these are certain things that you please don't do. I have seen a lot of those entrepreneurs do it over the years, and that's why I want to spell it out right there so that at least you don't tread that particular path. One, do not hire salespeople right at the front when you're doing your MVP or doing your development, etc. Not needed at all. A lot of the entrepreneurs, after they got funding, they come and sponsor, splurge in big events. Please do not splurge in big events. You do not get the ROI that you're looking for. No need of that. Third, I've seen they wanted to have more visibility, they wanted to have more promotion. They hire a lot of marketing people in the team. Do not build a marketing team. One person I spoke about who can take care of the entire facets of marketing. He can also help you in terms of a bid management, proposal, etc., a bit of pre-sales. That will do. Don't build your team, and don't, for heaven's sake, don't have a full-fledged marketing team. Fourth, I've seen people, in order for promotion, etc., go and engage with a peer firm. They cost a bomb. Do not need any peer firm, a promotion, a visibility, use social media, as I've said before. The fifth, do not procure costly databases. Do not go for marketing automation tools. This costs a lot of money. Please do not invest there. And lastly, I've also seen people want to build up. I said, I want to have corporate assets. I want to have my corporate fact sheet. I want to have a corporate brochure. I've also seen I've gone into a coffee table book. These corporate assets are not needed initially. I've seen in exhibitions and stores where people have invested money in this, and those are all lying around and some in the trash bin. Please avoid all this, and that's why I put this slide across. Some quick fixes, and I think that will help you in your journey for the momentum. So I think I'll just put it down. 5 of these key mantras. If you look at it, it will help you immensely. So these are the things that I wanted to address here. First, website. Get your website done without waiting for your product to even hit the market. If your team is too busy, outsource website design and development to a web design agency that can understand and articulate your value propositions well. Engaging your target audience, very, very critical. You need to be clear who is the target audience. You need to engage with them. And that is the key to making your marketing engine work well. The third one is get your inbound marketing. I have spoken about that, how you need to have your inbound marketing, and that is very, very essential. It's not just about blogs. It can be anything that drives relevant traffic to your website. And that is where you know the people who are interested, are genuinely interested in your product, and are coming to you to more about it. And that is a very critical element for you. Get a very firm grip and nurture it well. The digital marketing I've spoken a hell lot about. I don't want to repeat that more. The last one is analytics. It's a very core part of your website's performance because it helps you to improve your conversations and revenue if done systematically. You would like to definitely know how many visitors spend time on my key pages. What have they done on those pages? Have they downloaded something? Have they filled up some forms? And which content on your website attracts maximum attention? So analytics is very key thing. If you have a firm grip on these 5 key mantras I spoke about, these are the quick fixes that will help you to accelerate on your journey. We are all aware of the 4 stages in a typical funnel. There's awareness, which is a brand awareness. Then it comes the consideration, then the decision, and the retention. Okay. Now these are all moved in a new parlance, which is more like a loop. Okay. Now in this, what happens? The consideration decision stages is all about lead generation. The retention is about client nurturing. But the key thing is the trigger. When you get the customer into a loyalty loop. Okay, this infinite loop is what this today's customer journey is all about. Move from the funnel step. So when you get into the loyalty loop, the final endeavor is to make the loyal customer into a brand advocate or ambassador. He is the one who is going to go into the market and talk good about your product offering and your company. So the key thing is not lose the customer. Key thing is to get him into a loyalty loop, make the loyal customer into a brand advocate. With a very little of resources and money, if you do the entire basics, I talked about the 5 mantras, you will have a sales generating machine and a set of customers who are going to talk good. And believe me, when a customer talks good about your company, the effect it has is multiple than when you go and talk from your rooftop. So the essential thing is to go to those loyal customers and make them as brand advocates. This is the last slide where I basically wanted to talk about the key takeaways. And this is basically a summary slide. So 1, listen to the feedback while building your MVP. Use your MVM in order to accelerate this. Automate whatever business processes possible. I mentioned about it, how this is very key and you don't want anything to fall through the cracks. Invest in a seasoned marketing professional, one guy who will take over this and can do beyond marketing. He can help you in bids and pre-sales also. Focus on client experience, the digital client experience. Nothing is so important as this. And lastly, have the entire mindset to transform those customers into loyal customers and then loyal customers to brand ambassadors. Keep this in your radar. These are the 5 things. If you do it well, you will succeed and your SaaS company will be one who will move to the next topic. So that's all I have. The next slide is a thank you. Thank you very much for giving me a very patient hearing. I really appreciate that. I have given my LinkedIn details. We'll be happy to connect and take the discussion forward if you have any queries, or we can be in touch for any guidance that you may require. Thank you very much.